You were told you're too much, so you shrink yourself. You push down your emotions, your reactions, make yourself smaller and easier to digest. And hey, it works. Things get easier. You get through a hard conversation without your voice wobbling. People stop looking at you like you're fragile. Your boss trusts you more. You feel competent and capable. You start to fit in. It's freeing. So you keep going. You stop your feelings before they hit. Jump to the next task. It feels so good to be functional. Over time, you notice that things that used to make your heart sing don't anymore. A song you loved, watching the waves of the ocean, beautiful places feel hollow. Mentally, you know the place is beautiful. You just don't feel it. There's just this empty feeling. It feels like a summer afternoon in the suburbs when the light is flat and nothing is happening, and you feel vaguely nauseous from a lack of something you can't even name. You have everything you're supposed to want, and you feel nothing. What should feel like rest feels like suffocation, like the air is too thick, like time has stopped, but not in a good way. Like something is deeply wrong, but you can't point to what because on the surface, everything is okay. So you start reaching for things that are louder. A horror movie just to make your heart race, a roller coaster just to feel alive in your body. You don't even necessarily enjoy them. You're just trying to escape that numb, empty, hollow feeling. You don't really know what you want anymore. When asked, you choose what's useful, what's productive, what other people need. Your emotions are mostly quiet when you need them to be, but you snap at small things and you don't know why. You lie down at night and everything is quiet and you just feel empty. Even though everyone keeps telling you how strong and successful you are, you're not sure who you are when you're not working or needed by someone. You miss feeling things, but at the same time, you're terribly afraid of becoming too much again. It was inconvenient and overwhelming to feel things so deeply. So you just wonder, is this part of growing up? Is this what resilience feels like? I'm Dr. Mia. I'm a psychiatrist out in California, and I know all this because it happened to me. I've been sensitive my whole life. For a long time, that felt like a gift. I connected deeply with people. I noticed what other people missed. I felt things fully joy, beauty, meaning in a way that felt rich because of my sensitivity. Then I went to medical school. I knew on day one it wasn't the best environment for me. Everyone was so focused on ambition and status and getting ahead, and that's just not me. So I stuck out in a way I didn't fully understand at the time. I was happy, I was warm, I wasn't neurotic, and somehow that threatened people. I genuinely received criticism on my OBGYN rotation that I got along with patients too well and they liked me too much. I'd always depended on deep human connection for meaning, and suddenly that wasn't available. So I felt empty. I did what sensitive people learn to do when the environment makes them feel like they are too much. I made myself smaller, quieter, neutral enough to be tolerated. I hid my warmth because that was a vulnerability. I hid my depth because it made people uncomfortable. I became efficient instead, productive, cold, sarcastic, hard to reach. It worked. People left me alone. They even respected me more. But there were costs I didn't understand until later. I became a machine, hyper efficient, hyper productive, living in two states, working or crashed out from exhaustion. I couldn't actually relax. I couldn't turn my work brain off. I remember being on vacation and genuinely not knowing what I was supposed to do with myself. What am I supposed to think about? What am I supposed to focus on? I didn't know how to just exist. My sensitivity wasn't gone, it just went into hiding. This is what I wish someone had told me. Psychology calls this experiential avoidance. It's when you ignore and override your natural internal experiences to avoid discomfort. It starts as a survival strategy, but over time it becomes automatic. Eventually, you don't even know you're doing it. It just feels like your personality changed. This happens to sensitive people. It also happens to people with autism, people with ADHD, or anyone who is neurodivergent. Really, it happens to anyone who learned early on that their authentic way of being was more than the environment could handle. This is not your fault. It was forced adaptation. You were doing what you had to do to survive. But your nervous system doesn't forget, even though your mind learned to ignore these signals. When you stop expressing what you feel, your body doesn't stop reacting. The stress hormones still release, the nervous system still activates. You just mute parts of it, prevent them from reaching their natural conclusion. And an emotional response that doesn't complete doesn't disappear. It stays in the nervous system as unfinished business, like a low-grade signal keeping everything slightly activated, waiting for a resolution that never comes. Think of it like hearing a loud noise in the middle of the night and deciding not to check what it was. You tell yourself it's probably nothing, but something in you stays alert all night. And the threat was never resolved, so your brain doesn't calm down. Chronic suppression works the same way. These unresolved experiences keep the system on low-grade alert. Your stress response stays primed, ready for danger, even when nothing bad is happening. Over time, your natural state becomes guarded, and in a way it feels good because it's protective. Things don't hurt so bad, but they also don't feel as good. Over time, this becomes your new normal. It stops feeling like stress, it just feels like the new you. The only way your body has left to show what's being suppressed is through symptoms. Fatigue that sleep doesn't fix, headaches you can't explain, getting sick the exact week you finally go on vacation, a tension in your shoulder that never releases. Your belly becomes a ticking time bomb. You have anxiety without a real cause. Your emotional reactions are randomly out of proportion to whatever's happening because they're not responding to just now. They're responding to everything that's built up. For me, the only way I could ever relax was through intense exercise, and that wasn't even relaxing. That was my body crashing out with some endorphins. Living like a machine means the main emotion you feel is irritability. You just snap at small things that don't deserve this much anger. It's because of the invisible, exhausting mental performance you put yourself through all day long in order to just appear fine to the world. Here's why it happens. The part of your brain responsible for emotional regulation, the prefrontal cortex, has to run this performance. It monitors your authentic reaction, suppresses it, creates an alternative, and then checks, is my mask working on everybody? Running that theater performance all day depletes it. So by the time your partner is deep breathing like a literal leaf blower, there's nothing left to buffer your reaction. It's not about the Darth Vader breaths. Your system just ran out of gas and you snap. Something more insidious also happens. You lose touch with your own internal signals. Not all at once, but gradually. There's a structure in the brain called insula that translates your body's signals into conscious awareness. Hunger, fatigue, that gut feeling that something's wrong. When suppression becomes chronic, that connection between body and conscious awareness weakens. Emotions that could have been caught early on only register when they're screaming at you. You know something is off, but you can't really name it. A therapist might ask you what you're feeling, and you genuinely don't know. because your body forgot how to read its own signals. There's a clinical term for this, alexithymia. It's not being able to tell what you're feeling, much less describe it. You can be born with it or you can develop it over time. Chronic emotional suppression, trauma, and stress can all cause it. And then there's the flatness. It's not quite depression, more like someone turned down the color of your life. You watch your life from slightly outside it. Good things register, but they don't hit. You're always off to the next thing. One framework I find useful here, it's a model, not clinical fact, is the polyvagal theory by Stephen Porges. Ideally, your nervous system can switch between being alert and at rest. The rest state is when you feel at ease, present, creative, inspired, relaxed. This is the part of life that gives you meaning and fulfillment. People with chronically activated nervous systems can't rest. They get stuck in what's called the dorsal vagal state, which is the nervous system's conservation mode. Kind of like putting your computer into sleep mode. It's not off, it's just saving some energy. This state feels flat, dulled, detached. In nature, it's the state animals get into when they're playing dead. No wonder it feels so empty. Shrinking yourself can affect your brain structure. In severe cases like depression and PTSD, your brain structure can literally change. For emotional suppression and masking, the picture is less dramatic, but your regulatory systems can shift when they're locked out of their natural cycles. How much depends on the severity, duration of your symptoms, your biology, what protective factors you have in your life. This is not a life sentence. Your brain can change. Recovery is possible, but it requires more than insight. It requires more than willpower. You have to meet the nervous system at the level of the adaptation. You did nothing wrong by surviving in this way. This world was not built for people like us. This is what had to be done, but you do deserve to return to yourself. I found my way back, mostly, slowly, and not in a straight line. Through inner work, through addressing biological blocks I didn't even know I had, things that had been keeping my nervous system stuck in overdrive for years without my knowing. But before any of it could work, I had to understand what actually had happened. You didn't grow a thick skin, you went numb. And those aren't the same thing. Growing a thick skin would mean the sensitivity was trained out of you. Numbness means it's still there, still receiving everything at full signal, still processing your environment at the depth it always has. You just stopped being informed about it. You turned off the notifications. The sensitivity didn't leave, it went underground. And as we know with the psyche, underground things don't disappear, they lie in wait. The next video is about what it actually takes to find your way back. It's not going to be a protocol or a quick fix, just the honest truth about what recovery actually requires, why it takes so long, why insight isn't enough, and why none of that is your fault.